Great, we're recording. Okay, is everyone recording? Oh yeah, wait. Does everyone have headphones to use? I think we should use headphones.
But then it won't hear us through this.
I'm gonna go like this for the class.
Well, so the point is that we're only hearing, so there isn't like feedback from the other people, that you're only hearing.
Oh, we don't want that. I thought we wanted that. That's silly. Okay, I will do that.
I think it's because it will sound like the other people are coming out of a computer.
Okay.
That's why we're each recording ourselves.
So
Okay, so let me know when you guys start recording.
Okay, are we ready?
No,
Yeah.
hold on.
This is going really well.
Do I just begin with the...
Oh, yeah, okay. Wait, did you already press record, Thea?
It's fine. I'll
Okay,
do it
three, two, one. Okay, we're recording, and I'll do the clap. Okay.
Okay, great. We're ready.
We're ready, and we're starting. Now I cut this first part out.
Obviously.
Do you want to clap again?
Yeah, let's start over. Let's just start over.
Yes.
I think.
Okay, wait. So delete this.
Yeah, delete this one.
I thought we were all clapping.
I think
No,
maybe just I clap.
Yeah,
Okay.
we only need
Okay.
one clap. It's like marker.
Yeah, it's like a marker thing. Yeah, okay.
Okay.
3, 2, 1.
Welcome to Invisible Disco Productions podcast, Writer's Block Party. This is the inaugural episode of our podcast. We're hoping to share the work of emerging artists and breaking down the all too often mysticized process of creating and developing art. I'm Deniz.
And I'm Amelia Annan. And today we have Thea Thronson as our very first guest. Thea Thronson is a New York City actor, director, writer, and musician. She graduated from NYU Tisch School of the Arts Experimental Theater Wing, woohoo, go ETW, in May 2000. No, oh God.
When?
In May 2009.
Wow.
Can we start over?
We don't have to start over. He'll cut this out.
Okay, I'm gonna start over. Okay.
Yeah, start again.
Yes.
It's okay.
Speaking is so hard. Okay. And I'm gonna start from and I'm Amelia Annan. And
Great.
I'm Amelia Annan. And I'm Amelia Annan, and today our very first guest is Thea Thronson, who is a New York City actor, director, writer, and musician. She graduated from NYU Tisch's Experimental Theater Wing in May 2019. Recently, she co-founded the entertainment production company Invisible Disco Productions, woohoo, that's us, and with whom she has spent a good portion of quarantine collaborating. Her composition and music directing credits include Invisible Disco Productions' digital retelling of This Feeling and NYU's Mara Saad. Her stage directing credits include This Feeling and her original one-act play, After the Beep. Her acting credits include La Bourgeois Avant-Garde, The House of Bernard Alba, and 11 Blocks on the Camino Real, all performed at ETW. She aspires to help make theater more accessible for all creators and consumers. She feels incredibly grateful to be working with a company where her passions collide every day and is so excited to be the first guest on Writer's Block Party. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So
Hi,
excited.
God, it's good, you know.
Oh God, it's so good.
God, it's incredible.
Great.
So,
Do I have a line?
Hey, you brought a little ditty for us, a little song.
Sure did.
A little
Baby.
piece called
That's
Time
exciting.
Numbs.
Should we take a listen to it?
Yes.
Yeah, let's listen to it.
Yes. What's it called?
Time Numbs. This song that I wrote is called Time Numbs.
Incredible. And where'd you get that name from?
Oh, a journal entry of mine somewhere along the line.
Some musings.
Some musings, you know. Okay, question for now. Are we listening to the recording or do you want me to play it?
So it
Okay,
says
great.
host is disabled screen sharing. So
Oh, good.
I did not.
We're gonna take a brief pause. We're gonna cut to
Please hold.
when we have.
Should our phone recordings continue?
Yeah, just let them
Okay,
go.
I'm
Just let
gonna leave
them.
Because hopefully the clap, he can just line it up and then, yeah.
Yeah, and then cut out all the parts where we're stupid.
Exactly. God, I wish I had an editor in real life.
Okay, can you do it now?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
Incredible. Thank you. Okay. Advanced. Let's take a listen.
I wish I could bottle this conversation. Take a sip when I feel alone. 'Cause one day you'll be gone. They'll all tell me to move on. That you're the truest soul I've ever known. I wish I could photograph affection. Hang it in a frame beside my bed. So if we're far apart, your smile can warm my heart, quieting the But even if I could, I'd still be terrified. Day by day, the future's poisoning my mind. 'Cause wounds don't heal with time. They If peace could be knit into a blanket, I'd never be far from your embrace. I'd use your strength to help me find my place. But even if I could, I'd still be terrified. Afraid of what the memories might become. Day by day, the future's poisoning my mind. 'Cause wounds don't heal with time. They go numb. They go numb. They go
Incredible.
I love that.
Also, violin, right? Was that the other instrument in there?
Indeed it was.
God, I'm good.
Wow, you are good.
So yeah, like where did that come from in your artistic mind?
So this song kind of came to life when I was riding in the car with my grandma.
Got it.
So we were just going for a drive and talking about nothing really. And I was like thinking about when we used to like go for drives when I was a little kid. Conversations we'd had, and like thinking about how I was going to be coming back to New York pretty soon, and I was going to miss her and miss talking to her just like candidly in the car. And I kind of was thinking about, I don't know, just missing people and missing feelings of people. Conversation. Just, and I was like, oh, I like the sentiment of that. So I wrote it down and I journaled for a little bit when I got home. And then I just put it away. And didn't really think too much about it. I just was like, and a couple of other things happened. I lost a couple of people in my life, like close friends, but weren't anymore in kind of a short period of time. And I was just thinking about thinking about missing the idea of a person as opposed to like missing an actual person. And like missing something that used to be, because people are constantly changing. And so I started writing music, which is usually how I start writing songs. I start with like guitar.
Write the music first.
I do, yeah, because I don't really like writing lyrics. I never really have. I always feel kind of corny. And so I started with guitar, and I just recorded a few minutes of just me fucking around with a couple of chords. Can we swear? Is this gonna be an explicit podcast?
So. Yes.
Okay, great.
Let's also just mention that she's hugging her guitar right now.
Yeah, she's sitting there with her guitar like a little singer-songwriter. This is not suitable for children.
This is not suitable for children. Sorry.
I should have heard that sooner.
But yeah, so I wrote just a little, I wrote like the chord progression that I liked, and then I was messing around with just like singing like Phoebe Buffay, like la 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 la, with no words, and I was like, I love this. And then I went back to that journal entry for some reason. I can't remember if I was sitting down to write a song or if I was just kind of perusing through old journal entries, which is a bad idea and you shouldn't do it. But I think that might have been what I was doing. And I was like, oh, that's like a good lyric. I wish I could bottle this conversation. So I wrote the first verse with the chord progression, and I was like happy with it. And then I was like, this is where it gets hard for me, because now I have no other words in my brain that I know. And so I'm going to stop. So I stopped. And I left it be for a little bit. It existed only in a voice recording on my phone. And then this feeling happened, the digital retelling.
Yes. We wrote a little song for that too.
Where we wrote a little song.
Which is on YouTube, everybody.
Yes,
on YouTube.
check it
Go
out.
Check it out.
Check it out. It's
like 36 views, not a big deal.
Hey, whoa, tens of views, guys.
Thank you.
Put us over 40. But yeah, so you and Lauren, Amelia, sent me poems, and then my dad kind of helped me like shape the poems into lyrics. And I was like, well, that was really fun. So then I like floated the idea to my dad. I was like, hey, do you want to like write songs together? And he was like, sure, I guess. And so as we were driving back to New York from my house in Iowa, I was like sitting in the back seat of our van, like playing guitar. And he and my mom were in the front seats, just kind of like suggesting word pairings and like ideas of things.
Wow.
And we recorded it, and yeah.
Incredible.
And pardon me if this is just my lack in musical abilities, but
No, please.
So when I listen to someone's album, I'm always astounded in how many different types of songs there are, like all these different lyrics, all these different compositions, or even like these famous composers for movies. They just come up with such different things all the time. And I have had the chance to listen to some of your work. So how is it different every time?
That's a great question.
How do you just like not go by the same melody and same lyrics over and over again?
Right. Well, it's interesting you ask, because I was actually just earlier today, thinking about how a lot of my work is a very similar sound, like has a very similar acoustic guitar sound, which will happen when you write exclusively on acoustic guitar. But yeah, that used to be a really big fear of mine when I was like a child and had like only a piano and wanted to write songs, and they all were exactly the same song. And I guess I don't tend to write melodies like beforehand. I tend to write like backtracks and secondary guitar lines and put them together and then just sing over them for a while. And I think for me that's helpful to avoid like having similar sounding melodies, because every chord progression has a different feeling and a different like driving, motivating force behind it. So like this feeling was like, which is very different from Time Numbs. Like it's just, it has a different like it feels, I don't know how to describe it other than it feels different. So the vocal line wants to be different. And as far as lyrics, a lot of my lyrics come from things that, like journal entries of mine, things that I have written and thought about for a long time. So they do kind of fall into a through line. But I think, I don't know, like I'm thinking when you said like artists' albums who have a very distinct sounds on every song, like I'm thinking of Fun, Some Nights album. I don't know if you've listened to it.
Yeah.
But like every song on that album is like, it could have been sung by a different band. Like they're all so distinct. And I definitely as a songwriter aspire to that, but I'm definitely not at that level yet.
Okay,
and
no shade on Fun, but I do wonder, because a lot of bands have other people write their songs. I do kind of wonder if they are literally different songwriters.
Right. Which
so I guess like
be.
As a band, it's easier because they're like a bunch of you, whereas you're
that's true
a solo artist.
Right.
Like I feel like for the Beatles, everyone who loved the Beatles is always like, oh, that's that one song, that's a John song, that's a, like that sort of thing. So they like you can hear the different songwriters.
Right. Exactly. And I think so definitely I aspire to write different sounding songs. I'm gonna get a ukulele, and that might be helpful in doing that, just because a ukulele is inherently different than a guitar. Yeah. But yeah, it's always something to think about. I don't think it's something to get too caught up in though, because I mean, unless you have a team of professional songwriters, there's gonna be you in it, which is not a bad thing.
That's interesting. I feel I don't know who said this. You know how acting teachers just quote people and never tell you who they're quoting, but it's like that sort of thing where all writers keep writing the same story but in a different way. I don't know if you've ever heard that, but I always think of that, how like a lot of writers, they're just telling sort of the same like their own life story, just in like different ways. They're different characters.
It seems so easy when you say it that way, but then it's really hard to make it different.
It's really hard. So what do you normally writer's block? Like if you just cannot come up with anything, like how do you get out of that?
Such a good question. I don't ever what I do is I try to avoid writing that has a deadline.
Yes, you're like, I never hold myself to a deadline, therefore
I never do writer's block, but I'm just waiting. No, if I can't, like, I will go through periods where I'm just like constantly on the guitar, right? Like just like playing, and I'm like, oh, that sounds great, and like this is gonna be a different song, and like da 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 da, and then I can like put ideas to those things. But then once I like start to write lyrics, I inevitably like shut down and I'm like, this sounds dumb and I wouldn't want to listen to this song and no one else is gonna want to listen to this song. So then I just stop. And what I usually do is I just like leave it for a day, 2 days, sometimes like a week, however long you have in the parameters of your logistical life. And I go like do other things and like about the song. Like I'll still play guitar and I'll like do covers of things, but I won't even think about that song for however long. And then I'll come back to it. And if I still just like really am feeling like I don't have any inspiration, I write scenes and monologues too. I always go back to the journal and I write down what's happening in my life. Like I am very like specific and very first person and not being metaphorical or like
no metaphors allowed.
Right, like no, like very literal, very specific, and then whatever is like working itself out in my brain that won't allow itself to be written into a song is on the page within like 10 or 20 minutes. And then once I have those words, I'll like put them into a doc and like rearrange them and write lyrics. And then once I have like a structure, I'll be like, okay, I don't like how this sounds, but I like maybe if I switched it to this. So it's just like, it's a very formulaic thing for me, which I don't think it is for everybody. But if I can just figure out what my brain like doesn't want to be said on paper, then the rest usually falls into place.
Great. So you mentioned covers, and now I wonder, are there particular writers and singers that you go back to who inspire you?
That was an awesome segue. Yes. Yes, there are. Well, I guess I'll stick to songwriters because that's the theme of today. Songwriters who inspire me. Let's think. Joni Mitchell, for sure. Tracy Chapman. Carla Morrison. Let's think. Whoever writes the songs for Broods. I don't know that band. I don't know who writes the songs for that band. Roger Waters. Yeah, Nina Simone.
I really only have recognized like 2 names you've said.
Yeah, Amelia.
I love that.
Look them up. We'll link their Spotify.
They're on Spotify anyway, so.
Amelia and I
they're real
have some work to do.
Yeah, we have to do research. What about those people do you like? What makes you like them? If you can put your nose on it.
That's a great question.
Or finger on it. What's the phrase? I don't know.
Put your nose.
Put your nose on it.
To the stone. I think, like, for example, Roger Waters was well, okay, now I'm going to sound like an idiot. I assume he was the lyricist for Pink Floyd. He was in Pink Floyd, and then he did his own thing. And just the songs that he writes are so devastating because of the way that he puts words together. He just like captures emotions so like intangibly. And I latch onto that in songs. When there's like a phrase in a song that I can't get out of my head, I'll like listen to everything that artist has ever done, because it's like I just like the earworms of like a well put together lyric. And I think a lot of the people that I mentioned have a similar like I think of it as like a very intellectual way of writing lyrics, which is how I write lyrics. And so if I can like try to figure out where their head was when they were writing, or how they got from verse to chorus or chorus to verse, then it makes it easier for me to be like, okay, I can apply that to this song because of blank. Just in terms of process. But also all of those artists have super dissimilar like musical profiles. And I think that also is interesting to me because I play a lot of instruments and I like a lot of different types of music. And so I guess it makes sense that like there would be a wide spectrum of sounds that appeal to me. Yeah, I don't know. That's a really good question that I haven't really ever thought about.
Is music in a movie something that particularly stands out for you? Because it is for me, even though I'm not a musician at all. I think it can make or break a movie, and it is for you.
Absolutely.
Favorite film composer, go.
Oh my God. Look, what appeals to me in a film score is the French horn, because that's my favorite instrument. And so literally ask anyone I've ever watched a movie with, if a French horn comes in the soundtrack, I'll go, oh, French horn. And I'll be like, okay, shut up. Yes, film scores make and break movies for sure. It's something I thought I was going to do when I was in high school. I applied to an equal number of acting programs and French horn programs. And I assumed I would be going to school for French horn and then moving to LA and being in bands that recorded for films, which is a very incredibly difficult thing to do. So I was just like, that's what I'll do. And
and then you did the next difficult thing.
Instead, I went into acting.
This is slightly easier.
A little easier. It really is crazy though, because I was one of my professors who was a French horn coach was telling me about how he used to play in LA, and French horn is a little different because there's less of them, but trumpet players, they'll go to auditions for things and they'll get the part, right? And they'll get they'll know that they're going to do this thing on Friday. And then on Thursday, they'll get emailed all of the music. And then for a 2-hour movie, and then they'll go the next day, record all day. And if there's one sour note, or if the director for some reason is just your tone doesn't match everybody else, they'll kick them out and bring in the person from the waiting room.
You mean whiplash?
It's literally, it's oh my God, what a stressful life. So I didn't do that.
Movie. Yeah.
Well, a great movie. It's called Score. It's a documentary basically about this, but more about film composers. It sort of shows that, it doesn't focus so much on the band, but more on the composers. But if you haven't seen it, you should watch it.
I absolutely
It's
will.
very interesting. It's
I've
really
never heard
cool.
of it.
They really show how they've. Yeah, basically, the people are when do they practice? And they're they don't. They
Literally.
just show up and play.
They're so experienced at sight reading.
Mm-hmm.
It's amazing. Yes.
So you're not a French horn player. You play the French horn, but it's not your profession.
Exactly.
Unfortunately.
And it's really difficult to write songs on the French horn because it's kind of all-encompassing. Oh.
It's all encompassing. That's great.
Yeah.
Did everybody see that?
Yeah.
Nice.
What?
Yeah, we got upgraded. Zoom upgraded us, baby.
Everybody, we just got a gift from Zoom saying that our 40-minute timeline or time limit is
now unlimited.
Now
so
unlimited.
get ready, buckle up for the next 3 hours of nonstop music.
Amelia and I just looked at each other and we're like, is this the time we wrap it up and not let this meeting end before we don't wrap it up? Or should we just
But now we have all the time.
But now we never have to stop.
Yeah.
No, never.
We can see each other. I can't see you, Deniz.
Yeah, we can't see you anymore.
Oh, yeah. When I say Amelia and I looked at each other, I mean I looked at Amelia.
I mean, I looked at Amelia.
Telepathic.
Yeah.
There you go.
I thought she was looking at me. I don't know.
I looked at you. Don't
Great.
worry.
Thank you. Well, then, what do you expect this? What is this piece in its full form?
Ooh, so glad you asked. My dad and I are planning on / have started writing an album.
Ooh.
Yes. And so
Father-daughter musical duo.
Yeah, very exciting stuff. I don't know when it will happen, but one day there will be an album by James Keane and Thea Thronson for your listening pleasure. And it will include this song and several others that are in the rudimentary stages of creation.
Would you ever write a musical? Since you've written plays.
Yes. My biggest pipe dream is to write a musical. It is such an undertaking. When I wrote, I wrote music for NYU EGW's Marat Sod.
Yes.
And that music already had lyrics. Like, the person who wrote that had written lyrics.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was just composing purely musical things on top of that. Oh, good. The construction has started back up. Sorry. And that was the hardest creative endeavor I've ever undertaken. And I really wasn't sure how it would be, but trying to write like musical motifs that reoccur throughout a piece and like getting the tone of, I'm gonna try this. My roommate suggested this. Okay. There we go.
Make music to it. Go.
Literally. But just, I don't know, just like trying to juggle all of the, like, music does so much for a musical, and to try to manage that in order to write it is like something that eludes me 100%. And so I would love, like, that is definitely a dream of mine, but I for sure, like, but I would love to write a musical by myself one day.
I feel like there's, as someone who has listened to a lot of musicals and been in some musicals, I feel like there's definitely a musical-esque element to your songs.
Yes, that's a good point. I do like to write story songs. I like to write songs that have a narrative. And so that's helpful in terms of transitioning between an album and a musical.
I also see your music as like music videos a lot, because it just, even when I listen to this and many of This Feeling music, I just can totally imagine someone going in a car, like driving through their hometown that they haven't been back in 10 years.
Yeah.
Which is funny because
window of a bus.
Yeah, and you got the idea when you were in a car with your grandma, so that's...
Cars are motif.
Cars just elicit music.
That's true.
They're just very, like, I don't know what the word is, not cinematic. Whatever cinematic of music is. You know what I'm saying?
Visceral.
I don't know.
Okay. Well, never mind. Noah cut that out.
Orchestral.
Yeah, it's just like a very like musical vibe in a car, you know, looking out a window. Music video-esque.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Thea, for joining us.
Thank you. This was a blast, guys.
And thank you, everyone, for listening. Let's just mention once again that if you want to hear more of Thea's work, go to Invisible Disco Productions YouTube channel and follow us on Instagram at Invisible Disco Productions.
Yes, thank you all for listening, and we'll see you later.
Yay!
Bye!
Bye, Thea. Thanks for
Bye,
coming
thank you.
to this Zoom call.
Of course.
Okay, I think we can pause it.
Okay, so
Should I end the recording?
Yeah, I just ended mine. Okay, I'm gonna label it Writer's Block Party Episode 1.
do you want to put your name on it?
Yeah, I put Episode 1 Amelia.
Oh, I said
so
Thea. That's funny. Wait,
I'm just gonna do.
recording.
I'm gonna put Thea. That's my name.
Okay, you put this.
That's my name.
I'm gonna stop the recording for this. Goodbye.